What's up, guys? How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well out there. You know what? I'm going to cover a topic here that a lot of people have always asked me about. Living here in the Philippines with diabetes, a lot of people have questions. How much is medication? Where can I get my medication? Cost, what's available, what's not available. I'm going to kind of cover these things today in this video. Guys, I'm not a consultant about diabetes. I'm just going to share my experience and what I've learned living here in the Philippines as a diabetic and retiring here as a diabetic. I'm a type 2 diabetic. Type 1, I really don't know too much about, but I do know about type 2 diabetes. Let me start off by saying I was in my family, I inherited my diabetes. So if you have a family history of diabetes, I would get checked, even though you might not think you have it, but I would still get checked. Like I said, I inherited it in my 40s. My grandmother had it, my great uncle had it, my great aunt had it. It skipped a generation with my mom and my uncles, and guess who got it? Me. I've never been overweight and obese or anything like that. So it, you know, people say, oh, you get it if you get heavy and this and that. It's not true. That's not true. Does it happen? Sure, it happens. I know people that have been overweight, have diabetes, lost weight, and their diabetes went away. So that's my story. That's how I got it. That's how I got the great type 2 diabetes. Thank you, grandmother and great aunts and uncles. Coming to the Philippines. If you come to the Philippines to visit, you can bring your medication. You are allowed to bring your medication. I've never been stopped or questioned about my medication coming through the airport. Nobody have said anything about it. Matter of fact, when I retired here, I brought 180 days supply of medication, from pills to insulin. As you know, if you're diabetic, insulin has to be kept cold so it doesn't lose its potency. So when I got on the plane, I had a little bag, a little box bag with ice in it and stuff. And I had, like I said, I had 180 days worth of insulin inside this cold container, inside my carry-on. My pills were on some were on the carry-on, a lot of them were down on in my luggage that was stored underneath. Nobody questioned me. Nobody questioned me at all. So you can bring your medication here. Like I said, if you're visiting, bring your medication for the amount that you're visiting. If you're going to stay here and retire here, bring as much as you can. My insurance plan allowed me up to 180 days. So I was good that way. So no problem with that. Supplies. Here's a big thing, supplies. Where are you going to get your supplies? What pharmacies? Where are you going to get your medication, your blood work done, test kits, doctor scripts, insulin pens? Where are you going to get it done? There's quite a few pharmacies here. There's Mercury. There is Watson's. There's South Star. And then there's generic drugs. Those are some of the pharmacies. The thing here, guys, wherever you live is going to determine the pharmacies where you can get your supplies. If you're out in the province, you might have 1 or 2 local pharmacies. Then you might have to travel a distance to a bigger pharmacy if you can't get it at your local pharmacy. I would suggest, if you're out in the province, talk to your pharmacy out there, talk to your pharmacist, explain to them what you need. Always remind them though, always remind them, ask them if they can get the medication in for you on a monthly basis. If not, you might have to travel to a bigger city where a bigger pharmacy chain is. But make sure you know the area where you're living. You're in the city, I can stand on the corner, look down the street, and there's pharmacies, the big chain pharmacies every other block or two. The malls have, I think Watson's is in the mall. So your malls have pharmacies in them. So like I said, it all depends on where you live. It's going to determine the pharmacies that are going to be available to you. I myself use Mercury. I use the one in Robinson Mall. They always have my supplies. If not, there's another pharmacy, Mercury Pharmacy down in Marquee Mall. I use them too all the time. You might run into where one pharmacy has part of your medication, another pharmacy has the other part, and you got to live with it. You got to deal with it. When the COVID hit, I ran into a problem. The one pharmacy I always went to, they closed. They closed up. So then I had to go to two different pharmacies for one for one medication, one for another medication. Test kits. Here's another thing. Test kits. Where do you get the supplies for the test kits? You're going to come here possibly with your own test kit name brand. You got to check and see if they have replacement test sticks to test your blood sugar levels. If not, you can always get what they offer at the pharmacy. They can run anywhere from, say, 500 pesos on up. Another place to get your supplies for your test kits, your little test strips, Lazada. Lazada has them too. So yeah, those are some of the places you can check. Insulin pens. Where do you get the insulin pens? Some places carry insulin pens, some don't. So you got to check with your pharmacy. Another thing I want to do at the end here is I'm going to break down all the prices here. I'm going to say prices in pesos, but at the end, I'll break everything down so you guys know. Another thing you got to worry about is getting a script to get your supplies. I went to a doctor when I first got here, and I asked him, what do you recommend? What kind of medication for a type 2 diabetic? He sent me for blood work. Blood work came back, and he recommended, he changed up. I used to take metformin in the morning and metformin in the evening, and I used to have an insulin pen that I would use at night. Now here's the funny part, guys. When I moved to the Philippines, I was around 190, 195. Within 6 months or so, I lost about 20 pounds. By losing that 20 pounds, I no longer needed to take the insulin pen. It might sound strange to some, but that's the God's honest truth. So I no longer use the insulin pen, just the medication. A lot of times if you just lose a little bit of weight, you can wean yourself off that insulin pen. Also eating here. Eating is a big thing here. Back in the States, you go out to eat, sit down for a meal, you always get like bread and rolls, and you'll get like free salad with your meal. Well, here it doesn't work that way. You pay for your meal. If you want bread and salad and everything else, that's all extra. So not being able to eat all the extras, not having the convenience of like the oversized food here had also helped. Everybody is different. I'm only sharing my journey with what I've learned here as a type 2 diabetic in the Philippines. You have people that are borderline diabetic, you got people that are diabetic, and you got people that are just really struggling with their diabetes. What else? Talking about prescriptions. I got one prescription from the first visit with my doctor for my medication for the pharmacy. And every time I used to go to the pharmacy, I used to go in with the script. This is what I need. This is what I need. You can get 30-day scripts. You can buy as many pills as you want. You can buy a pill a day, a week, whatever you want. There's no mandatory, you got to buy X amount. So I would go in and I would present my script every time. And every time, okay, one time I forgot my script. And I said, I forgot my script, but I had everything written down on my phone. Do I need a script? They said no. So you don't need a script for a pharmacy for your medication. At least in this area, I have not had a problem. Might be different in other areas, but this area, I have not had a problem. Getting blood work done, getting your, if you go monthly, 4 times a year, your A1C count blood work. You can go into a lab here, and I went in today to get the costs and asked them, do I need a script for my blood work? And they said no. Now every area could be different. You got to understand that. So I asked them how much was blood work. It was 842 pesos. Like I said at the end, I will break all this down financially to make it a little bit easier for you. Getting a doctor's script, and like I said, some places might require it, other places might not. A doctor's script to go in and get a doctor's visit, gonna run you about 600 pesos on up, depending how much the doctor charges for a doctor visit. So those are some of the things that you got to look into. Another question I've been asked is, I'm a vet. Will the VA, that's it, will the VA reimburse me, or will the VA give me my medication? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you yes. I'm not going to tell you no. That would be something you'd have to talk with the VA and discuss with them. If there's other people out there that are diabetic and they deal with the VA here in the Philippines, leave the comment below. But these are just some of the things that you're going to have to deal with as a type 2 diabetic here in the Philippines. The big thing is, where are you going to get your prescriptions from? Like I said, you're out in the province, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the jungle. You got one pharmacy, and it's a small pharmacy. Talk to them, see if they're going to get it. If not, you might have to travel to a bigger city to get your supplies. So anyways, let's break this stuff down. Let's break it down. Medication. I'm only going to go over what I take and what I use here. Like I said, I take 2 pills once a day. The one pill I take, let me look here, it's straight metformin. Metformin. It costs me 1,652 pesos, or $34.16. The other metformin, dapagliflozin metformin, spit that one out, right? That one is 1,750 pesos, or $36.45. So just for my medication, that's a 30-day supply. It's $70.61 I am spending. I am spending every month. Oh, what else do we have? Lantus. The Lantus is an insulin pen. One pen, I have it right here, one pen. This is what I used to use for my insulin. Will run you 1,011 pesos for one pen, or $21.06. Now you need the needle that goes on to the tip of the pen. This is per needle. Per needle is 50 pesos, or $1.04. A doctor's script, if you need a doctor's script. A doctor's script, like I said, will run you 600 pesos up to 800 pesos or more. I'm going to go with the local doctor script here at 600 pesos. That is $12.50. Blood work. Blood work at the lab here in Angeles City is 842 pesos, or $17.54. The glucose meter to test your blood sugar. If you need to purchase one here, they start out and go up. They start out at 550 pesos, or $11.45. If you want to know more about what costs for certain things like the blood meter, your sugar meter and replacement strips, and even the tips for insulin pens. Lazada, there's a lot on Lazada. You know, if you're out in the province and you can order from Lazada, that is another excellent way to get your supplies. So with that all being said, it's kind of like this is what I have found out on my journey. Everybody is different. Everybody takes different medication. Everybody has their own way of controlling their diabetes, eating this, being on this type of diet, doing this, doing that. Everybody has their own way. I'm not here to dispute it. What works for you, works for you. What works for me, works for me. Another thing too is, guys, when you get here, if you're diabetic, it is easy to gain weight. It's easy. I'm lucky because I get out and I walk and I do vlogs, so that's my exercise. Could I eat better? Sure, I can eat better. Can I eat worse? Of course I can eat worse. But if you come here and you're type 2 diabetic, don't let it get away from you. There's a lady here, and I mentioned her place, Pinky's. She prepares meals for guys here that are diabetic or have to be on special diets. So check the area you live in. If you don't want to do all the cooking and you don't want to go out and buy this and buy that, check with some of the local restaurants. See if they'll prepare these meals for you. Like I said, one place here in Angeles, Pinky's, I know she does it because I've talked to her about it. So there's always that option. So anyways, I hope this was of some advice to some of you guys that are thinking about retiring here with type 2 diabetes, or even guys that live here that are struggling to find certain things, or just struggling with dealing with the diabetes. Like I said, I am no diabetes expert. I am no consultant. I'm not going to charge you for my advice about diabetes. It's not my thing. My advice is free. So anyways, guys, I hope it was of some help. So anyways, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of the sick, the elderly, and the young. If you have pets, take care of your pets, and we'll talk to you later.